VIT. Let's kick it. Virus, baby. Coronavirus, baby. Alright, stop. Don't isolate and listen. COVID's back, it's a brand new version. The virus grabs a hold of you tightly, grips like a harpoon, yeah, it's frightening. Will it ever stop, yo? I hope so. Stock up on pasta and rock roll. Yeah, it's extreme, it's global, international. Bleach everything, work the floor with door handles. Hand sanitizer, market has boom. I'm staying in doing TikToks in my bedroom. Gently, Corona is the enemy. Scientists doing their best to make a remedy. Wash it and clean it yourself all day. Social distancing, please stay away. Yes, it's a problem, but we'll solve it. Let's stick together and we can resolve it. Virus, baby. Coronavirus, baby. Coronavirus, baby. Coronavirus, baby. Yo, just be careful out there. Let's love one another.
Hey you guys, hope you're all having a good time. I'm getting my groove on despite this coronavirus out there. Hope you all are having a good time. Hope you had a great experience with the dry land at the last episode and all the great stuff you learned from Coach Lauren about distance swimming. Today we're bringing you Coach Austin with backstroke. Lots of great stuff on backstroke, and we're going to stretch out today and have a great dry land. Coach Corey, Coach Luke in the house again. Have a good time. Go Gold!
Hello Chattahoochee Gold. Today we are going to be focusing on backstroke. The first thing we're going to focus on in our backstroke today is our head position. Now, there are three important things that you need to know for your head position, and that is your eyes need to point up, your neck needs to be nice and long, and your head needs to make sure that it's staying still in that position. Now, if our eyes are not pointed up, they are more than likely going to be pushed forward too much. And if your eyes are pushed forward too much, that's going to lead your head upwards, and that's going to cause your body to then be lower than your head, causing you to swim uphill rather than at the surface. When we are focusing on our neck, we need to make sure that it's nice and long. If our neck is too scrunched up, or if we've brought our shoulders too high, that's going to mess with our head position. And it's also going to cause us to swim a little shorter. We want to make sure that our shoulders are set back, our neck is nice and long. That way we can be a little bit longer in the water. Finally, we want to make sure that our head is staying still the entire time. If our head is moving too much, then it is going to cause our momentum to go sideways or up and down rather than forward. And we don't want to waste our energy when we're swimming. So, like this jump rope, if the top of it is nice and still, it will move just up and down. However, if my head starts to move, the rest of my body will start to move as well. And that is a lot of wasted energy that could be spent getting to the wall rather than swimming zigzag in the lane. There are a lot of great drills to help focus on head position. The first being boat kick, where your arms are by your side and you're just focused on kicking up and down the pool with your head in the correct position. You can also go into balance kick, where you're on your side, still focusing on that head position, and even six kick switch, where we go from one side of balance kick into the other, making sure that our head stays still when we're switching strokes. All of this can be done with a water bottle on your forehead, like this, to help make sure that you are staying nice and still with your head the entire time. If your head moves too much, the water bottle will fall off, letting you know that your head position was off. Next, we're going to talk about our body line in backstroke. There are three things we want to focus on there as well. First, we want to make sure that we have a nice elongated body. We want to make sure that we have a nice tight core, and we want to make sure that we have a good straight line with our body. So a long, straight line with a tight core. Making sure that your body is nice and long is very important in swimming in general. Even in sports like rowing, you see that longer vessels are typically faster ones. So if you look at Olympic rowers, even though there's only one person in the boat in the single race, their boats are still about 27 feet long, because the longer the boat, the narrower the boat, typically the easier it is for that vessel to cut through the water. Keeping your body line in line is very important. So this nice straight line going back is really going to help make sure that we're reducing the amount of drag that we have. Just like with that jump rope earlier, if you move your hips too far to the side, it's going to generate drag, causing you to slow down. Finally, we need to make sure that we have a nice tight core. If our core is tight, it will mean that all of the force that we are creating is going to help our body move forward. However, if we have a loose core, our body is going to absorb some of that force and we're not going to move forward as efficiently. Like these two objects. This one is nice and rigid, however the jump rope is very loose. If I push the pipe forward, the tip is going to move as far as my foot moves the back. However, if I take my foot and push on the end of the jump rope, the front of the jump rope barely moves. Now the front of the jump rope barely moves because it is not tight. It doesn't have as much structure as the pipe, and because of that, the energy that I put on it was absorbed by the middle rather than reaching the front. So how do we get an elongated body with a nice straight line and a tight core? Well, there are a few things that we can focus on when we're in the water. Firstly, we want to make sure that our legs stay nice and straight out behind us. If we're bending too far back, that's going to decrease how long we are, right? It's going to make us shorter. We can also make sure that our hand stays out in front, nice streamlined position when we're kicking, or a balance kick. So when we're swimming, we want to make sure that something always stays in front, or at least near the front, so we can keep that nice line. Thirdly, we want to make sure that we are keeping a tight core, all right? Now that's about flexing your muscles, your core, and making sure that you're bringing your back in. You want to have a nice flat back. We don't want to be bent at all. For kids that don't really know how to use their abs yet, you're going to feel yourself tense up if you cough a little bit. So you're going to feel those muscles clench up a little bit, and that's what we want to feel when we're swimming backstroke. The next thing we're going to talk about is our backstroke kick. We want to make sure that we have a nice, long, flowing kick that's also propulsive, so it's driving us forward while we're swimming. We want to make sure we have a nice, long, flowing kick, because that's going to help keep our feet near the surface of the water. It's also going to make sure that we're still staying nice and long. If we're kicking too little, then we're not going to move forward very much. And if we're just kicking with our knees down, we are going to be shortening our body too much. We want to make sure that we have a nice propulsive kick, because our goal is to reach the other side. As long as our kick is helping us move forward, then we're making sure that we're using the energy wisely. So when you're kicking on your back, make sure that you're focusing on getting your toes back up to the surface, but we do want to make sure that we're getting a lot of propulsion. That means that we're gonna have to kick deep. So when you're kicking down, focus on keeping a nice straight leg. When the best kickers in the world are doing their up kick, they're making sure that they're still getting to the surface. They're letting that knee bend a little and getting back to straight by the time their toes reach the surface. So it's important to make sure that that leg gets nice to straight, but it's still at the surface at some point. Then you bring it back down, still nice and straight, and then kick up with a slightly bent knee. Super tip! The best kickers in the world all have a very similar kick. when they're doing their back kick, they make sure that their leg stays nice and straight the entire way. They let their knee bend a little bit when they're kicking forward, as long as they still reach a straight leg by the time they finish their kick. Finally, the fastest kickers are typically the hardest workers as well. You can't fake a really good fast kick. You have to make sure that whenever you're kicking in practice, you're working hard, otherwise it won't be fast. Next, we're going to talk about rotation on backstroke. The two things that we want to focus on our body when we're rotating are our shoulders and our hips. When we rotate, we want to make sure that our shoulders feel like they're popping out of the water and our hips are snapping from side to side. Through all of that, we want to make sure that our core, the center of our body, is moving as a single unit. So while those shoulders are popping up, while those hips are snapping from side to side, our core is staying nice and tight and moving together. Rotating your entire body at the same time ensures that you're going to stay in a nice tight line. If your shoulders move first and then your hips, you're going to throw your body out of line. If your hips move first and then your shoulders, you're going to throw your body out of line. Getting our side helps us be narrow in the water. When we talked about our body position, we talked about how rowers and their boats, they wanted to be long and narrow. If we can get narrow, it's going to help us cut through the water a little bit better. It's also going to get us into a better position to pull. If we're not rotated at all and we're swimming backstroke, we're going to be pulling in a very precarious position that could lead to injuries. When you're rotating, you want to focus on rotating from the center of your body, from your spine and your head, moving around those positions. You don't want to feel like you're moving your body around itself, because then you're pushing your body outside of its line. We want to make sure that we've got a nice, tight, compact, kind of a concise rotation going from one side to the other, just around that spine and head. There's some great drills for this. First, you can start with no arm 6-kick switch. So that's like a boat kick, but every 6 kicks, you go from one side to the other. Next, you can go into regular 6-kick switch, which is a single pull, and you rotate onto that second side. Single pull, rotate onto the second side, switching every 6 kicks. Finally, there is 6 kicks, 3 strokes, where you do 3 backstroke strokes in a row, followed by 6 kicks on that side. Make sure you're getting all the way onto that side each time, and making sure that that rotation happens quickly and is nice and concise. Finally, the last thing we're going to talk about is our backstroke pull pattern. The first thing that we want to think about when we're beginning our backstroke pull is entering our hand in the water with our pinky first. After that, we are going to bring our fingertips out to the side and push our elbow back. We're going to pull down to our chest. We're going to finish by pressing our hand under our hip and lifting our thumb out of the water to begin our recovery, where we enter pinky first in front of our head. A good pull ensures the best use of your muscles and also is going to help prevent injury. If I were to take this ball and tell someone to throw it at the ground, no one would intentionally throw it behind their body like this. They would actually throw it probably in front like this, right? Now, we can't really do that when we swim backstroke, can we? Right? Our arms would then be out of the water rather than in the water. But if we utilize some of the things that we've already learned in this video, like rotating, we can take that position, rotate, and end up so our fingertips are pointed to the side, and we can throw in a good position that allows us to use our more powerful muscles, the front of our shoulders, our pecs, our lats, rather than just the muscles in the back of our shoulder right here. So by rotating, it allows us to get to a better position that's going to prevent injury and help us pull a little bit stronger. So how do we do this? Well, with many things in swimming, a lot of change in your stroke is going to come from thinking about it. If it doesn't feel like it's different, it probably isn't. So there are a few drills that we can do that are going to help you focus a little bit more on the pull. The first one is going to be double arm backstroke, where your hands are doing the same thing at the same time. So you're going to start by entering with those pinkies in the water. You're going to get those fingertips to the side, pull to your chest, and finish under those hips before you come back out with those thumbs. Another drill to do would be single arm backstroke. This is going to allow you to rotate more than the double arm backstroke, which limits your rotation. You would again enter pinky first, and you're focusing on the pull pattern, making sure that your fingertips are pointed to the side rather than down, pulling past, throwing down as you rotate fully onto the other side. So you should begin your pull on one side, and you're going to finish the pull on the other each time. Thank you for tuning in for my lesson on backstroke. Up next, we are going to have some dry land from Coach Luke and Coach Corey.
All right, guys, welcome to your dryland episode for today. This is for the 24th of March. So we are getting into our second week here, not in the pool. So we're going to go over a couple warm-up things. A little quicker video. I'm not going to be working out with you guys today. I'm going to give you the workout. We're going to go over some of the movements, and then I'm going to send you guys free to go and do this 4-time workout. But we'll talk about that in just a second. First thing we need to do is we need to get warmed up today. You should be doing those calisthenic warm-ups that we showed you last week with Coach Luke. In addition, I want to give you some other ways to warm up, stretch out, and make sure you're staying healthy, active, and making sure everything's moving nice and smooth. So when we get back in the water, we are feeling great, okay? All right. So if you have a PVC pipe, or if you have a broom handle or any type of straight rod, a dowel rod would be great, a piece of wood, whatever you want to use, doing pass-throughs is a great idea. So pass-throughs are simply, you take your hands, you put them slightly outside of your shoulder width, and you're going to let the rod or PVC pipe come all the way back and then all the way forward. You're touching your belly button, you're touching your back every time. If you don't have one of these, if you don't have any type of straight rod, grab your jump rope. Take your jump rope, put it at the same length. Pass through with that jump rope. Pass through to the front. Guys, keeping your shoulder rotator cuffs warm and loose is super important to maintain shoulder health. Most of us know that that's the #1 injury in swimming is going to be your shoulder injury, so you want to make sure you're taking care of those shoulders. Now, it's a little harder to do with the jump rope, but you can also do these rolling pass-throughs where you roll your shoulders in all directions, holding that straight pipe. So if you do have a broomstick or something like a PVC pipe, you can do these. Doing 5 or so minutes of these gets your shoulders really loosened up, all right? So you want to make sure we're warming up properly. We're going to give you some different warm-up techniques, tips, tools throughout the next coming weeks here, okay? So that's something you guys can throw in now. You can go ahead and grab a PVC pipe, a dowel rod, something along those lines, and do your pass-throughs. You can do it with your jump rope, however you want to do it. All right, good stuff. So do about 5 minutes of that before you start in on this workout. Now let's talk a little bit about our workout today. It's 4-time, your 4-time workout. So you're going to comment your time below in the comments and see how you compare to your teammates. You can also just shoot your coach an email and let them know how you did. Let them know that you're getting these done. We'd love to hear feedback from you guys right now. We miss having you all in the pool. So having you guys send us a quick email letting us know that you're doing these dry lands and how you're doing would be a great treat for us, okay? So go ahead and shoot your coach an email or leave a comment with your time on this workout at the end. All right. So today you have a pyramid 4-time, and you're going to go through it 2 times. It's as fast as you can go. So this is on you. This is whatever speed you can go. Whenever you need to rest, you take rest. Now there's going to be one spot where I'm going to highly encourage you to not rest. Don't rest at this point. We'll talk about that in a second. All right, this is for intro, tech and fit, silver, silver advanced, gold, and gold advanced. This is our gold advanced and under workout for the day. So if you're in any of those groups, you're in the right place. We're going to go 100 rope skips. This is just to get your heart rate up, okay? Get your heart going, get yourself moving nice and quick, and get ready for a little bit more of a strength building workout here. So you're going to get your heart rate up, go 100 rope skips as fast as you can. Try and do them unbroken. If you mess up a little bit, no big deal. And as always, if you do not have a rope, go ahead and do jumping jacks. But when you do a jumping jack, you want full range of motion, hands touch over your head, hands come back to your side. And you're making sure you continue to spread your legs and bring your hands up the whole time, okay? That is a proper jumping jack, and you wanna make sure you're doing those because you're substituting something a little bit more difficult doing those rope skips, a little bit more calf engagement, really springing off the bottoms of those feet instead of spreading your legs. So you're gonna do that at the beginning of 2 rounds. Don't worry, you only have to do that twice. So you're gonna go 100 rope skips. Then you're gonna go 10 burpees. That heart rate's gonna be up. We've hit burpees. You guys all know how to do a great burpee. When you do your burpee, you want your hands to hit the ground right in front of your feet. Feet kick back together. Chest touches the ground. We push up. Feet come back up. And then we jump with our hands up, either in a streamline or over our head. That is the proper form for a burpee. You wanna make sure everything stays tight and in a straight line. You don't wanna be bending or rounding at your back. You always wanna think about hinging at your hips. Think that there's a dowel rod or a PVC pipe through my hips right here, and it can't move. I'm hinging at my hips, okay? That's the movement you want to do in most exercises. You don't want to be leaning from your back or rounding your back. Swimmers already have posture things that happen from swimming certain strokes like backstroke, where your shoulders will round forward a little bit. You want to pull those shoulders back, work on your posture. A great way to do that is exercising correctly. All right, so 10 burpees. Then you're going to 20 streamline squat jumps. Now, we all can get in a streamline. We all know that we stack our hands, squeeze behind our head, try to touch our elbows together, tucking your chin, and your hands are locked together like this, right? That's our perfect streamline. Do it all the time in practice, it's super important. Well, that's the position you want to be in when you explode off the ground. So what we're looking for is a full range squat. Arms can be right in front of you. You want your knees to be right over your toes. They might be slightly in front or slightly behind, but you want them to be generally right in front of your toe or right over your toes. Your hands forward, and then as you explode up, you're going to throw your hands using that momentum in that streamline and jump as high as you can. So you go down, up, okay? You're looking for as much explosive power as you can. As swimmers, we have to train with explosive power. There's a lot of great things that come with strength, but when we're on the blocks, strength does not equal explosive power. It does not equal how quickly and fast you can push yourself out over the water. So when we do any type of squat movement, you want explosive power. All right, so those are your streamline squat jumps. Make sure you're getting that as high as you can. Find an area where you have a high enough ceiling to do this. Do it on a back patio. Do it somewhere where you have space to jump up nice and high. So you're gonna do 20 of those. Then you're gonna go into flutter kicks, 30 flutter kicks, okay? When we do flutter kicks, we've talked about this a couple times. You want your hands directly under your hips, toes pointed and straight, and you're gonna go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Every time both feet move, that is 1 rep, and you want to continue for 30. So it's going to be 60 total flutter kicks there. All right, after that you have 40 lunges. You see the pyramid going up. We've done 10 burpees, 20 streamline squat jumps, 30 flutter kicks. Now we're going 40 lunges. Don't worry, this is only 20 each leg. So you have to do each leg in those flutter kicks. Now you're going to do 20 each leg lunges. You're going to alternate each time. You're going to step slightly out to the side. Your feet should still be shoulder width apart, but you're taking nice big steps so that as your knee touches the ground, you're finding that 90 degrees with your front leg, okay? So you stand right back up, feet come together, and then you step out forward. Now we've had a couple workouts where we've done some jumping lunges. If you really want to push yourself, go ahead and put those in. You're just going to step forward and switch in the air every time, okay? Make sure you're catching your body weight with your quads and not slamming that knee into the ground if you choose to do those. Those will make this very challenging for you. So either way, alternating or jumping, you can go ahead and do those, but it's 20 each leg for a total of 40 reps. You're top of the pyramid. You're gonna do 50 reps of air squats. Now this is the challenge that I wanna set for you guys, is to do these nonstop. And you're not looking for half reps, you're looking for 50 straight reps, going all the way through, and you are looking for, like we just talked about with those streamline squat jumps, your knees are gonna come right over your toes, maybe slightly behind, maybe slightly in front, whatever's comfortable for you, but you want all the power in your heels. In an earlier video, I said all the power in your hips, and I hope a couple of you caught that and said, I don't think that's what he meant. It is not what I meant. You want to put all your power in your heels, so you want your toes slightly angled out, not much, just a little bit, so that they point out and they're not pigeon-toed in. You want them out, your knees come right over your toes, you're hinging at your hips, pushing your hips back, and when you get to that bottom position, you can wiggle your toes. That's going to tell you that you're in that correct power position. I want to see if you can get all 50 without stopping, going to proper depth. Make sure we're focused on form, okay? So that's the top of the pyramid. Then you're coming back down, 40 lunges. I'm gonna challenge you to stick with whatever you start with. So if you think that you need to do alternating and not jumping, stick with that, okay? If you do jumping the first time though, I want you to hang with that the whole workout. All right, so 40 alternating or jumping lunges, back into those 30 flutter kicks. Then you're gonna go 20 streamlined squat jumps like we just talked about and 10 burpees, okay? Now I said we're doing this 2 times through. So we are gonna do this 2 times through, and you're gonna rest 30 in between your 2 rounds. That 30 seconds is gonna be added to everybody's time, so it's not gonna be something that, makes you go slower if you don't take your 30 seconds. Everybody take 30 seconds. If you don't take 30 seconds, your time doesn't really count. It totally counts, but you need to tell everyone in the comments, hey, I didn't take the 30 seconds rest. All right? So, when you get back to that top, make sure you're doing those rope skips too, just as a little side note. Other than that, that is your workout for today, guys. I can't wait to see what type of times you guys get done on this. I'm gonna post my time below too. I actually have not done this workout yet, but I'm gonna get it done probably the same time as you guys. And I will throw my time in the comments so you guys can, embarrass me and go way faster. All right, guys. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'm gonna let you guys get to this, throw on some of your favorite music. And yeah, get to this, go to all 2 rounds. No stopping on those air squats, making sure that we're getting 30 seconds rest at the end. And I want to hear all about it. All right, guys. You guys have a great rest of your day. All right, guys. A lot of you guys have access to a pull-up bar of some sort, so I wanted to give you a little bit of a side note here on this video of some pull-up technique stuff to think about. I know a lot of you guys like to do pull-ups. I know over at Cumming, our groups love to do pull-ups every day before practice, so I wanted to talk a little bit about them. This is not something that's going to be required of you guys, as we can't guarantee that you have a pull-up bar. But hey, if you have a rafter in your basement, if you have a pull-up bar for your door, go ahead and try and knock some out every day. Your lats are very engaged when you do pull-ups, and that is one of the biggest muscles we have for swimming. Your lats are right here under your armpit, and that is the muscle that when we rotate, that's what we catch water with. So you want to use that. You want to grow those muscles. Great way to do that is pull-ups, okay? So, little addition to your video today. If you have access to a pull-up bar, try and set a challenge for yourself. Set yourself 20 a day, 30 a day, something like that, and knock out some pull-ups. Now there are different styles of pull-ups, and that's what I want to talk about right now. Okay, so one, if you have a band and you want to do banded pull-ups, that is great. Always use any type of assistance you need. It's all about progressing up to where you want to be. But the wider your grip and the more you lean back, the more you engage your lats, those big muscles we just talked about. So if you're hanging here and you lean back and you're engaging those lats, your grip is wide, you pull straight up to your chest. This is engaging your lats. This is using your back. If you reverse grip here and you keep your hands close, this is a chin up. This is going to engage mostly your biceps, a little bit of your lower lat, and a little bit of your chest at the top. So that's more of an arm movement, which, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with having strong arms. We do use the size of your arms to catch water. Remember, we talk about fingertips to forearm or elbow to fingertips. That's the size of your arm. So the bigger paddle you can create, the better. So not a bad exercise to do that too. And then there's the most common. You just do like a little bit of a closer grip, and you do chin-ups, hanging straight below the bar, getting full range of motion. Make sure you're coming down till your arms lock out, going all the way up. If you have bad elbows, any type of tendonitis in your elbows or anything, don't let those arms lock out hard. Make sure you're catching yourself as you go down, and make sure you are not hyperextending your elbow, not letting it push in. You want to catch yourself, control it right before those arms go to a full straight extension. All right, like I said, this wasn't an addition to your workout. This is if you want to set a challenge like that for yourself, you want to do something along those lines, go ahead and throw some pull-ups in there every day. It's a great way to stay active, great way to stay in swimming shape. So we wanted to throw something on here with some different forms, some different technique tips. And yeah, all right, guys, have a great rest of your day. I hope you enjoyed the workout today, and I will see you tomorrow.
Hi, you guys. Hope you had a great dryland workout. I had a wonderful time. I feel so energized, so pumped up, and ready to get on with the rest of my day, and looking forward to the next episode, where we're going to have Coach Beth talk to us about why swim team, what's exciting about swim team and why we should do that. And Coach Mark is going to be talking also about swimming in college. That's extremely important for a lot of you older guys, but it's never too early to start to think about where your journey in swimming is going to go. Whether you want to swim in college or not. What's that like? Tune in next episode and hear Coach Mark. Remember, my good friend Coach Kathy taught you something when we learned to speak Jamaican in the last episode about Tan Ayayad. Reminding you guys again. Tan Ayayad. That means stay home, stay safe. Ready? Go Gold!